camera is toast, but everything else works just fine. You'd think you could just pop a new one in, right? Well, today we're gonna find out if that's actually a DIY dream or if it's a total repair nightmare.
We've all been there. That sinking feeling when you realize your photos are all blurry. Or worse, you see that little spider web crack right across the lens. And the rest of the phone? It's perfect. It just feels like such a waste to think about a crazy expensive repair or a brand new phone for just one tiny part.
I mean, the idea of a quick, do-it-yourself fix, it's so tempting, isn't it? You hop online, order a part, watch a quick tutorial, and boom, you save a ton of money. But as we're about to see with today's phones, that beautiful dream can turn into a frustrating and, yeah, a potentially expensive nightmare real quick. So why do so many of us think this should be an easy fix? It's a really common misconception, and honestly, it all comes down to how we see our phones, how we think they're put together.
And this right here is the heart of the problem, what we call the illusion of modularity. You know, you look at the back of your phone, you see that little circle of glass, and it just feels separate. It feels like it should be as easy to replace as a light bulb in a lamp. But that couldn't be further from the truth.
And the reasons we think this way are totally logical. First off, like we just said, it looks like a single part. Second, the drive to save money is massive. Professional repairs aren't cheap. And finally, who wants the hassle of sending your phone away for days? The DIY dream promises to be fast, cheap, and super satisfying. Okay, so to see how this really plays out, let's look at a case study from the pros. They took on an iPhone 13 mini with a busted camera and a very, very tight deadline. So yeah, the stakes here were really high. This wasn't just some small inconvenience. The client was a tourist, ready to capture these amazing, once-in-a-lifetime memories of her trip across Australia. A broken camera was going to completely ruin that. The pressure was definitely on. So on paper, the job looks almost ridiculously simple. You open it up, unplug the old camera, plug the new one in, and seal it back up. 4 steps. Sounds foolproof, right? And if you watch the technician, a guy named David, get to work, it just reinforces this idea. He makes it look so easy. He pops the phone open, carefully removes a few tiny screws and plates, and the camera module just lifts right out. Seriously, he makes it look like magic. And it strengthens that little voice in your head that says, hey, maybe I could do this at home. But here's the twist, and it's a big one. The physical swap, that's only half the battle. What's actually happening on the inside, on a software level, well, that's a completely different story. This slide just lays it out perfectly. There's the illusion, and then there's the reality. We see a simple, swappable part. In reality, it's a whole integrated computer system. We think it's like a light bulb, but it's actually deeply tied to the phone's unique software. We assume any old replacement part will work, but nope, it requires specific calibration from the manufacturer. Because here's the crucial thing to get. That camera is not just a lens. It is a super sophisticated piece of tech. You've got the image sensors themselves, tiny little motors for optical image stabilization, its own processing chips, and all of it is running on software that is designed to talk specifically to the rest of your phone. Okay, so now that we get just how complex these things are, let's talk about the very real risks you face if you try this at home. This is exactly where that simple dream can become a full-on nightmare. I mean, physically, you're dealing with microscopic screws that are so easy to lose or strip. The parts are all connected by these flex cables that are as thin as paper and just begging to be torn. But the biggest killer, the real hurdle, is the software lock. See, manufacturers pair the original camera to the phone's main logic board with a unique serial number. If the phone detects a new part with a different number, it can trigger errors or even just disable features entirely. So let's check back in with our pro, David. He has flawlessly installed the brand new camera module, he's sealed the phone up, and he's booting it back up for the first time. What do you think happens next? And there it is. Even for a professional, using a genuine Apple part, the phone's software immediately throws up an error message. It knows a new part has been installed, and it flags it. That is the software lock in action. Now, in this specific case, the camera actually did work, but for a lot of DIY repairs, seeing this message is game over. So the technician knew how to proceed, he knew how to test it despite that warning. But really, ask yourself, if you were sitting at your kitchen table and that message popped up after hours of super careful work, what would you do? That's the exact moment most DIY repairs just die. Okay, so seeing how even a pro hits a software wall, it's pretty clear the DIY route is basically a minefield. So what's the best and safest way forward if you have a broken camera?
This chart really says it all, doesn't it? A DIY repair has a super high risk of failure or even causing more damage. The cost can actually be deceptively high once you buy tools and parts, and success is, let's be honest, pretty unlikely. A professional repair? Low risk, a clear cost up front, and success is basically guaranteed. No contest. So let's just be super clear about this. For the vast majority of modern phones out there, a camera-only swap at home is just not a realistic or recommended fix. That deep integration of hardware and software is way too complex to overcome on your own.
So what's the game plan? Well, here are your best moves. First, just contact a professional, reputable repair service and get a quote. Second, always check if your device is still under warranty or covered by insurance. You might get a cheap or even a free repair. And finally, if the phone is a few years old, the cost of that repair might be better spent just upgrading to a new device.
And all of this brings us to one final big question. This whole situation is right at the heart of the right to repair movement. Should manufacturers be required to stop these software locks? Should they have to make genuine parts and repair manuals available so that these kinds of repairs are easier for everybody? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for joining us.
So you had a phone disaster? Yeah, I came in with a broken camera, totally useless. But David at Sydney CBD Repair Centre was great. Within a day, the part was...
So phone disaster?
Came in with a brick camera. David fixed it in a day. Good as new. Highly recommend.
Our daily superhero, Mr. Repairman, David, is here. Call 8011-4119 now.
My Motorola Edge 50 screen was smashed. David here ordered the part and fixed it next day in 1 hour.
Our daily superhero, Mr. Repairman, David, is here. Call 8011-4119 now.
Wang, tell us about your recent phone repair.
David was super professional. He fixed my Galaxy Z Flip 4 in an hour. I literally walked in broken and walked out perfectly fixed.
Yeah, highly recommend.
If you have mobile phones issue, you can walk in. We're open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. 6 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. 2 p.m.